Hello, everyone, and welcome to Roll for Puns. I'm David, and I'm joined by Kyle and Nick.
Hello.
Yay.
Today, we're trying something a little bit different. We're going to read through the newest Unearthed Arcana that came out from Wizards of the Coast, which is the Subclasses Revisited. We're starting with here because it's the newest one. We may go back to read the other ones if this goes off well. Otherwise, we'll try and read these as they come out, so they're out within at least a week from when the articles come out. But let's get started. So this article goes over the Phantom, which was previously called the Revived in a previous article from, I believe, last year. The Genie, which is a revived subclass from the Noble Genie, which is, I believe that came out this year in one of the first Unearthed Arcanas. And then Order of Scribes, which is a new wizard subclass for that reimagines the Archivist, which was originally something with the Unearthed Arcana for Artificer. So let's dive into it. Kyle is going to start us off with the Rogue.
So, third level, you get the Roguish archetype, and this is one of the options. Phantom. Many rogues walk a fine line between life and death, risking their own lives and taking the lives of others. While adventuring on the line, some rogues discover a mystical connection to death itself. These rogues take knowledge from the dead and become immersed in negative energy, eventually becoming like ghosts. Thieves' guilds value them as highly effective information gatherers and spies. I almost said spines there. Really glad I dodged that bullet.
But you called yourself out anyway.
Yeah, because I thought it'd be funny. Many Shadowkai of the Shadowfell are masters of these macabre techniques, and some are willing to teach this path in places like Thay, Forgotten Realms, and Karnath, Eberron, where many necromancers practice their craft. A phantom can become a wizard's confidant and right hand. In temples of gods of death, the phantom works as an agent to track down those who try to cheat death and to recover knowledge that might otherwise be lost to the grave. How did you discover this grim power? Did you sleep in the graveyard and awaken to your new abilities? Or did you cultivate them in a temple or thieves' guild dedicated to a god of death?
So, just that description alone, I already like this.
Yep.
The Revived was cool, but this has a really nice theme of how did you discover this grim power? How can you tie this into a backstory? And I love that.
All right, your first third level ability, or first ability at third level, Whispers of the Dead. Echoes of those who have died began to cling to you. Whenever you finish a short or long rest, you can gain one skill or two tool proficiency of your choice, as a ghostly presence shares its knowledge with you. These proficiencies last until you use this feature again.
I like that. It's just like, hey, the party needs someone who can do survival checks. Blam!
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And as a rogue, this really gives you that sense of not only are you really good at doing a lot of things, but the fact that you can just change it on any kind of rest means that you can be really specific. Like, maybe you're not a master pickpocket or a lock picker, but you're going into a dungeon and you think that's going to be necessary. You take a short rest, bam, I can now pick locks.
Yeah.
Love
It'd
it.
be hilarious to, like, the party's complaining about something they need, and then you just instantly wake up and you're like, no, I got it.
I mean, it's not even going to bed and waking up. It's just thinking about it for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Short or long rest.
I really
That's just hilarious.
I know. I really like the versatility of this one because while it has really nothing to do with combat, it really gives the roleplay and dungeon crawl aspects a really nice touch for this.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things, I think, where it seems a little lackluster on the outside, but once you start thinking about it, and if you were to actually use it, it's like, oh man, this is actually kind of amazing.
Yeah. All right.
Second ability at third level, Wails from the Grave. As you nudge someone closer to the grave, you can cause deathly wails to be heard near them. Immediately after you deal your sneak attack damage to a creature on your turn, you can target a second creature that you see within 30 feet of the first creature. Sorry, excuse me. Roll half the number of sneak attack dice for your level, round up. And the second creature takes psychic damage equal to the roll's total, as wails of the dead sound around them for a moment. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
So the revived previously had an ability where if you didn't use your sneak attack, you could then use something called bolts from the grave and shoot them out at people within 30 feet, and it would be a whole different attack roll. While I did enjoy that, I actually think I like this better.
Oh yeah, same.
I definitely like this better.
This is basically like, yeah, I sneak attack this thing, it's dead, and that thing 30 feet over there is going to be really hurting in a second too while I'm at it.
Yeah, and that it does psychic damage.
2 attacks. They kind of get 2 attacks from this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, though the second one is half. Honestly,
damage is damage.
Damage is damage.
Psychic damage.
Yeah,
and psychic
damage.
I mean, barbarians can never get resistance to psychic unless you find a magic item. And not a lot of things have resistance to psychic damage. So
yeah, you need to be like a 17th level wizard to get immunity from psychic.
Something like that. Or you have to be an aberration.
Yeah. So this is good unless you're fighting like a mind flare. In which case, you probably shouldn't have tried sneak attacking it to begin with. You probably should just ran away.
Yeah, probably. But I really like this. This actually goes into something that we're going to see a lot in this article, where we can use the feature a number of times equal to proficiency bonus.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Honestly, I love it. So in previous articles, it's always been either your spellcasting modifier or like con or strength or whatever score kind of associates with it. But that means for a lot of people, you start off with 3 or 4 uses and you can only go up to 5. This, with proficiency bonus, sure, you start off with 2, but if you're playing through a level 1 through 20 campaign, you over time will get that 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And it really shows that your growth as an adventurer grows not only your abilities, but also your proficiency. And I thematically like that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Think of how many high-level campaigns are actually done. It's usually low-level campaigns.
But if you're playing from like level 1 all the way up to level 20,
yeah,
if you make it that far.
But the other thing to go with that, Kyle, is if they start using proficiency bonus more, that means they can probably for low-level campaigns make slightly stronger abilities that are tied to proficiency bonus instead of like your wisdom or charisma modifier, where you could easily start off with 4 or 5 uses and you'll never improve and have more than that.
It's probably easier to balance because it's a set in stone number as opposed to depending on the player's stats.
Yeah, and proficiency bonus is based on your overall level. So if you multi-class, that doesn't mean you're hurting in any way.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like, if you wanted to multi-class and you didn't want to necessarily dump a crap ton of points into whatever stat you would need for this class, you wouldn't be missing out on anything either.
Yeah, so I thematically like it because it does show a growth over time. Though I do want to see it evolve more, and I think if they tie it to proficiency bonus more, they could probably make slightly stronger abilities that are more limited.
Yeah,
and,
because they know you can only use them twice at level 1.
Yeah. So, I like it. But why don't you tell us about our 9th level ability?
This is my favorite.
All right, the third ability at 9th level, Tokens of the Departed. When a life ends in your presence, you're able to snatch a token from the departing soul, a sliver of its life essence that takes physical form. As a reaction, when a creature you can see within 30 feet of you, dies within 30 feet of you. My apologies. You open your free hand and a tiny trinket appears there, a soul trinket. The DM chooses the trinket's form or has you roll on the trinket table in the player's handbook to determine it. They don't even tell you what page? While the soul trinket is on your person, you have advantage on death saving throws and constitution saving throws, as your vitality is enhanced by the life essence within the object. You can have a maximum number of soul trinkets equal to your proficiency bonus, and you can't create one while you're at your maximum. As an action, you can destroy one of your soul trinkets, no matter where it's located. When you do so, you can ask the spirit associated with the trinket one question. The spirit asks you to... The spirit appears to you and answers in a language it knew in life. It's under no obligation to be truthful, and it answers as concisely as possible, eager to be free. That was way too long.
I like this one. So in the Revived, they had something kind of similar, but it was more like, at this level, you have advantage on death saving throws. I like that it requires an actual item.
Yeah, as I call it, the unfriendship bracelet.
And I like how it has more use than just, I have advantage on death saving throws and constitution saving throws. I also can be like, hey, this person that I killed that was part of an evil cult, I can see if I can get answers out of it. It's under no obligation to be truthful, but it could still help in getting some idea of an answer.
My question is, because you can have more than one trinket, could you give this trinket to like another member of the party, and then they have advantage on death saving throws and constitution saving throws?
I don't, as it's worded, I don't think so.
But it does say on your person. Yeah, so I would probably say no as well. But like, someone out there is gonna try and I don't know, lawyer that, I guess.
Yeah, I would like, if this becomes an official subclass, I'd like them to make sure it's worded in a way that it's only relevant to the rogue, or if they mean it to work where you can hand it to somebody else,
clear that up.
I think as it's written, it's only for the rogue. If they have one on them, they have advantage on death saving throws.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like, to me, it almost seems kind of pointless to have more than one, unless one is from a place where you think later down the road you can get a specific answer from them or something. Oh, it also says up there, we didn't really finish reading, but I guess you can use it as part of a bonus action to activate Ghost Walk, which I'm assuming is the ability further down south.
So they will have more uses in the later abilities, but at 9th level, the main one is the advantage, which I think
I need.
For somebody like you, yes. So you don't roll those ones until you roll double nat one.
Yeah.
But ultimately, as a 9th level ability, I love it.
Yeah, same. That's probably one of my favorite ones in this entire list.
So?
Okay. The 13th level ability, Ghost Walk. You can now face partially into the realm of the dead, becoming like a ghost. As a bonus action, you can assume a spectral form. While in this form, you have a flying speed of 10 feet. You can hover, and your attack rolls have a disadvantage against you. You can also move through creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain, but you take 1d10 force damage if you end your turn inside a creature or an object. You stay in this form for 10 minutes or until you end it as a bonus action. To use this feature, again, you must finish a long rest or destroy one of your soul trinkets as part of the bonus action you use to activate Ghost Walk.
So this,
I like that.
Yeah. I love it, and it just makes it so that the tokens of the departed feel more useful.
Okay, so yeah, that's part of that, so I messed up when I was looking at it, but...
Yeah, it does take a few more levels, but if you've been collecting the tokens, that means, by 13th level you have probably at least, 4 plus 4 to your proficiency? I don't have the player's handbook next to me, so I can't verify. But 4 or 5, I think it's 4, because 5 comes a little bit later. That means you'll have at least 4 tokens on you. You always want to keep one on you, unless you really need to use Ghost Walk. But that means in a day, you'd be able to easily use Ghost Walk 4 times.
Yeah, and that's insane. It's like, yeah, for the next 10 minutes, just roll with disadvantage when you go to hit me.
Yeah. And
then the moving through creatures and objects could be useful too.
Mm-hmm. And even a fly speed of 10 feet, I mean, 10 feet over 10 minutes is a decent amount that you can go through.
Yeah. There's a lot of good with this new revision of the subclass.
Yeah, I'm a big fan so far. But Kyle, why don't you tell us about the last ability?
The last ability at 17th level, Death Kneel. When you use your Whales from the Grave feature, you can now deal the psychic damage to both the first and the second creature. And personally, I'm not a fan of this. I would prefer to see something else with the trinket.
I love it. It basically, if you put it together, you do the entirety of your sneak attack damage again in psychic damage. Just half to your primary target, which is probably already dead, and then half to something 30 feet away. Like, that's crazy. I mean, granted, I don't think it gets like the extra bonuses. It's just the raw sneak attack dice.
Yeah, because it
but
says
like
you can
that's
deal the
still
psychic...
a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's basically doing a sneak attack twice, but at the same time, the main feature of the Phantom to me seems like the tokens, and I would have loved to see something else expand on that.
Yeah, that is true.
I agree. I agree with both points. I like it as what it is to fit in because that just means extra damage to your primary target. Though, yeah, because how it's worded is whatever psychic damage you dealt to the second creature, you just also apply that to the first one, which is half your sneak attack. So if you were to crit, let's put it this way, in that 17th level, I don't even remember what the sneak attack is at that point, but that's...
Don't you re-roll the psychic damage?
You do, but you do all of that damage plus the extra psychic damage, which is half of your sneak attack, which at 17th level is ridiculous anyway. That's a lot of damage.
I think I would have liked it better if like it was a burst damage where you burn one of your tokens.
I could see that.
I think would have been cool.
I like what it is, but I do agree that it would be nice to continue with the token theme because I think they could do more than just Ghost Walk and what they have.
I feel like they ended on a very lackluster note.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they definitely went more of the, well, we have this token idea, but here, have more damage.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now,
which is nice, but
I would
generally does ridiculous damage as it is.
Yeah. I would even be okay with it if it was something where you could expend a token to do sneak attack an extra time during your turn. If they wanted to tie it into your whole sneak attack thing. I think that'd be grossly overpowered at 17th level, but
I think it maybe making another attack roll kind of like
that could work too.
A token and it's a ranged attack.
Yeah, I could see that. I would like to see them change the 17th level to fit in with the tokens.
Same.
Especially because at 17th level, that means you have 6 tokens, which means you can use Ghost Walk 6 times and still have 1 token on you. I'd like to see another use.
Yeah.
And I think that would round out this subclass to be really well.
Yeah. Because asking questions depending on the campaign, I don't think will happen a lot.
Especially when they can't be truthful.
Yeah.
I can see
that's a downside too.
I can see some uses, but when they can't be truthful, and if you have a really crappy DM, it's pointless. Like I think how I would play those is it would be like a half truth, half lie, and you have to kind of figure out which part is true and which one is false.
I like that.
But
that's up to the DM.
Yeah, it is up to the DM, and I think that's how I would play it, where it's kind of like, well, this is what's going on, blah, 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 and you just kind of have to figure out which part is he lying on. And that just adds a whole nother element for players to interact with, but that's also me.
I would say that, like, maybe it's in their best interest to sort of, well, no, not even. If they do use that, then their soul is like set free. But then again, at the same time, it says only a sliver of them is in there. So
yeah.
And I guess they could just lie and use it up either way. So
either way, it does say the soul wants to be free.
Yeah, but as soon as you use the action to destroy it,
yeah,
you can ask it, and it's going to be free regardless. So
yeah. That's why I started talking, and I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. It could still lie, and it's still set free.
And generally, people who are trapped aren't usually grateful for it. So they're more likely to lie.
That's
especially
true.
if they were an enemy to begin with, which generally it is with people dying around you.
Yeah. The only thing that I will say on the death knell is, since it isn't tied to the token, that also means that that's extra damage you're doing per round if you're able to get your sneak attack off every round, which is nice, especially at 17th level. But I do feel that they need to do something more with the token. A third option to use the token for would, I think, round it out really well.
At the very least, I think it'd be cool if you could, again, give the trinkets to your party and have them use it. It'd, like, make them more useful also. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're carrying around 6, like, freaking take them.
Especially since some of those trinkets are really weird. Like, there's things like, there's really weird trinkets on there. Like, black goo is a trinket.
Yeah, I've looked through the list like a long time ago. I don't remember any of them.
Yeah, so I don't know. But overall, I like the subclass. I think it needs a little bit of a tweaking to be really well, but I do hope I see this in an official published book.
Yeah, same.
All right. Well, with the rogue out of the way, let's go on to the warlock.
Now, I have a question real quick.
Yes.
Is the one that this is replacing, is that the one where, as a warlock, you could get, like, a gem or something, and it would store, like, elemental energy or something? Or am I thinking of something completely different?
I want to say you're thinking about something different.
Because there was some kind of pact with the genie, I remember, where your genie gave you, like, a gem or something.
So the previous genie pact was, the main thing was, you would basically create a bond with another player, and it would have a wisp of smoke around them, and you could shoot spells from their area. And that was kind of like the main gimmick.
Yeah.
It was cool. But I know a lot of people, they liked the concept, but didn't like the execution. So let's go through and see what changed. So the genie. At first level, you gain the ability to make a pact with the genie. You've made a pact with one of the rarest kinds of genie, a noble genie. Such entities are rulers of vast fiefs on the elemental planes and have great influence over lesser genies and elemental creatures. Noble genies are varied in their motivations, but are all arrogant and wield power that rivals that of lesser deities. They delight in turning the tables on mortals, who so love to bind genies into servitude, readily entering into pacts that expand their reach across the multiverse. You choose your patron's kind or determine it randomly using the genie kind table. Each kind of genie is associated with a particular element as shown on the table, which there's 4. There's the Dao, which is earth, the Jin, which is air, the Ifriti for fire, and the Merid, which is water. So it covers the 4 basic elements.
And then the fire genie attacked.
And then the fire genie attacked. So, the first genie feature is the expanded spell list. The genie lets you choose from an expanded list of spells when you learn a warlock spell. The genie expanded spell table shows the genie spells that are added to the warlock spell list for you, along with the spells associated in the table with your patron's kind, Dao, Jin, Ifriti, or Myriad. There's a lot of spells here. And I actually like how there's a general list, but also your specific
specialized
genie
list, yeah.
Now,
and there's some really good stuff in there, too.
There is. Like, hello, as a warlock, I can get Wish.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello? Yeah. Which makes sense, genie. But you have...
Crazy talk.
detect evil and good, phantasmal force, create food and water, phantasmal killer, creation, and then yes, wish.
Don't you mean flame strike, not creation?
No, creation. Now, for all those fire fans out there, aka Sean of our group, he would probably go with Freedy. Burning Hand, Scorching Ray, Fireball.
Fireball.
For flame strike alone, yes, we would.
Fire Shield, Flame Strike. I love it. But
can you imagine the fear in someone's eyes as they run into your character and they're like, oh, thank God, it's not a wizard or someone that can fireball me to death. And then a smile creeps over your face. You hold up a hand. Lo and behold, there's a fireball.
Lo and behold, it's a 5th level fireball.
Lo and behold, it's a 9th level wish to cast a 10th level fireball.
Oh my God.
Dao has Sanctuary, Spike Growth, Meld into Stone, Stone Shape, Wall of Stone. All good things for
a lot of defensive.
A lot of defense, but if that's how you're building your character, they're really good spells.
Mm-hmm.
Jin, Thunder Wave. We know how Thunder Wave acts, and that's a great spell to begin with. Gust of Wind, Wind Wall, Greater Invisibility in Seeming. So
yeah, it's a crowd control / utility, especially with like greater invisibility.
Yep. Ifriti's obviously burn.
Yeah.
Marid,
no.
Fog Cloud, Blur, Sleet Storm, Control Water, and Cone of Cold. So a lot of mixture of utility and defensive and attack.
Yeah, it's like, you can't see me, there's 4 of me, and then here, have some AoE spells.
Yeah. I love the expanded spell list.
Yeah, I like all of them. Normally, when it gives like a list of different categories, there'll be like one that's lacking, but like honestly, all 4 of those are good.
Mm-hmm.
Like on top of the general stuff you get, all 4 of those are excellent.
Yeah. And wish please, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait to never make one. But that's the expanded spell list. I love them all, and I hope I get to play one day, because I already love this subclass just from the list alone. But let's go into the other first level feature. The Genie's Vessel. Your patron gifts you a magical vessel that grants you a measure of the genie's power. The vessel is a tiny object, and you can use it as a spellcasting focus for your warlock spells. You decide what the object is, or you can determine what it is randomly by rolling on the genie's vessel table. While you are touching the vessel, you can use it in the following ways. There is the Bottled Respite. As an action, you can magically vanish and enter your vessel, which remains in the space you left. The interior of the vessel is an extra-dimensional space in the shape of a 20-foot radius cylinder, 20 feet high, and resembles your vessel. The interior is comfortably appointed with cushions and low tables, and is a comfortable temperature. While inside, you can hear the area around your vessel as if you were in its space. You can remain inside the vessel up to a number of hours equal to twice your proficiency bonus. You exit the vessel early if you use a bonus action to leave, if you die, or if the vessel is destroyed. When you exit the vessel, you appear in the unoccupied space closest to it. Any objects left in the vessel remain there until carried out, and if the vessel is destroyed, every object stored there harmlessly appears in the unoccupied spaces closest to the vessel's former space. Once you enter the vessel, you can't enter again until you finish a long rest. The other one is Genie's Wrath. Once during each of your turns, when you hit with an attack roll, you can deal extra damage to the target equal to your proficiency bonus. The type of this damage is determined by your patron. Bludgeoning for Dao, Thunder for Jin, Fire for Ifriti, or Cold for Myriad. The vessel's AC equals your spell save DC. Its hit points equals your warlock level plus your proficiency bonus, and it is immune to poison and psychic damage. If the vessel is destroyed or you lose it, you can perform a 1-hour ceremony to receive a replacement from your patron. This ceremony can be performed during a short or long rest, and the previous vessel is destroyed if it still exists. The vessel vanishes in a flare of elemental power when you die. I absolutely love this feature.
Same. So I feel like the first part of this, Bottled Respite, I feel like there might have to be some creativity involved, but like one example is if you're getting chased, by like guards or something, just round the corner and foop, you're all of a sudden just in a stoppered bottle. Guards round the corner. Oh, well, Must have been my imagination. You know, the
Yeah.
typical Skyrim thing they do when they can't find you and they just walk away.
Or you're really hurt. You're really, really hurt. Maybe the rest of your party is fine. You're like, all right, it's up to you guys. I'm gonna go inside. Whoop.
I'm bowed out. Bye, guys.
You can just staying there for 4 hours at level 1.
Yeah, 4 hours. So you can take a short rest. Your party can carry you with them.
Yeah, I would say it's a really good defensive spell, but it might take some creativity to use successfully.
It definitely will.
It's probably not going to help you like right in the midst of battle too much.
And you have to remember, you can only enter it once per long rest. So it can definitely help out once, but you can't rely on it too much.
Yeah, it would also be good for like a spy type thing if one of your party members can like pawn you off, you know, if you're like an oil lamp or something to someone that you're spying on, because you can hear as if you were there.
Yeah.
Granted, you know, after the 4 hours or whatever's up, you're just gonna pop out, but like, you know, details.
That's when Fireball happens.
Yeah, that's when Fireball happens.
But I love it because when you get to a proficiency bonus of 4, that means 8 hours. You can take your entire long rest in this thing.
Pop out of it, and you're ready for another long rest since you can just use your lamp again.
Yeah, I love bottled respite because it is going to take some creativity, but also whatever you bring into it stays in there until you bring it out. So, say you're on a bank heist. It's like, all right, here's this vault. Come in with me. Whoop. And then you pop out. The entire vault's with you as long as it can fit in that 20-foot radius cylinder, 20 feet high. You could get creative with it and store a ton of things in there. It's like having your own bag of holding that you can access once a day.
At level 1 at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
and the extra damage is nice because I have this problem in frickin' Avernus, which is why I pretty much stopped using the spell. But like, my cantrip is like a 1d10. I have bad luck. I always roll a 1. Well, all of a sudden, the lowest I could get is like a 3 at level 1. The lowest amount of damage I can do is 3. That's pretty cool.
Yep. I like the Genie's Wrath because extra damage is always nice. And because it's based on proficiency bonus, it goes back to what I was saying before. Even if you were to stay as a level 1 Genie Warlock and then take the rest as another class, as you level up, that extra damage is going to go up. And it also says an attack roll. So that doesn't just go with spells.
Mm-hmm. Another addition to the Sorlock.
Yeah, really. The only thing it wouldn't affect is anything that you have somebody roll saving throws for, so it wouldn't affect Fireball. But you could add that to a dagger attack or anything like that, and that is wonderful. I love it. So, let's move on to the 6th level, Elemental Gift. You begin to take on characteristics of your patron's kind. You now have resistance to a damage type determined by your patron's kind. Bludgeoning for Dao, Thunder, Jin, Fire, Afridi, Cold, Myriad. In addition, as a bonus action, you can give yourself a flying speed for 30 feet that lasts for 10 minutes, during which you can hover. You can use this bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Yes. Gaining resistance to a damage type alone is always wonderful. And the fact that if you go Dao, you could get resistance to bludgeoning.
Yeah, that's gross.
Not many things give you resistance to bludgeoning. So that's cool.
I don't know if I would necessarily be over the top with the thunder, because I don't know a lot of things that use thunder, but like the bludgeoning, the fire, the cold.
Yeah.
Those would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so just that alone is really nice. But then the additional part where you use a bonus action up to a number of your proficiency bonus, flying speed of 30 feet that lasts 10 minutes. Who doesn't like to fly?
Oh, it's a hover speed.
Yeah,
doesn't seem
but
like you can so much fly.
but it's still useful. And
so what is hover mean? You can't really go upwards. It's just like you're off the ground. Is that how that works?
Yeah, but it also means that if you were to go down a long cliff, you don't take fall damage.
Yeah.
It's like bonus action. All right, guys, push me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It comes a problem when it's, longer than 10 minutes for a fall.
Yeah, well,
good luck. I don't know what you're jumping off of, but
Yeah.
Do I.
that's
I don't know how fast you fall with hovering.
That's okay. You can use it. 6th level? Your proficiency bonus is a +3 by then. So
Yeah,
you
so
technically
3
got 30
times.
minutes.
If you're falling longer than 30 minutes, you have problems.
Yeah, you shouldn't have jumped by that point.
Yeah.
You just told your teammates to push you.
That's fair.
So I enjoy the 6th level, just the resistance alone, but also just gaining that flying speed for hovering is nice.
Can make you look pompous.
Yeah.
Just hover down the streets.
Only peasants walk.
10th level feature, Sanctuary Vessel. When you enter your genie's vessel via the Bottled Respite feature, you can now choose up to 5 willing creatures that you can see within 30 feet of you, and the chosen creatures are drawn into the vessel with you. As a bonus action, you can eject any number of creatures from the vessel, and everyone is ejected if you leave or the vessel is destroyed. In addition, anyone, including you, who remains within the vessel for at least 10 minutes gains the benefit of finishing a short rest, and anyone can add your proficiency bonus to the number of hit points they regain if they spend any hit die as part of the short rest there.
Yeah, that's overpowered.
I wouldn't say overpowered.
It's amazing.
Speed up the game a bit.
Short rest in 10 minutes.
Well, there's Catnap that does basically the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
And Catnap's a spell that you can cast multiple times, though I think you can. There is a restriction on it. This you can only use once per day because you can only go into your vessel once per day.
That's true.
So there is that limitation, and the fact that people are able to heal at 10th level, you have at least a +3, 3 extra hit points.
Yeah, with every hit dice they spend.
Yeah, that's nice.
Catnap's nice too, but it takes a spell slot, a pretty high level one. I don't remember what it is exactly. Third.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, anybody that has it cast on them is basically unconscious during that point. So it's kind of you'd better hope you're safe for those 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it's hey, we're safe for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Find a bush, whoop, and the object's just hidden in a bush. Somebody may find it if your DM's a dick or somebody sees you go into it, but
that's a suspicious looking lantern takes out fucking broadsword.
I mean, does help the party out if they're in a rush and can't need a short rest, but
in a dungeon,
but can't necessarily afford to, whether they're in a rush or surrounded by enemy.
Yeah. And the fact that you can bring up to 5 people in once you hit that 4th proficiency bonus, that means 8 hours. You could use this just to be in a safe long rest if you didn't use your short rest benefit.
Yeah, that's true.
So overall, I really like this because of the fact that it gives more utility to your rest, and you can play it a little safer even if you're in a high danger area. Because looking at the items, an oil lamp, an urn, a ring with a compartment, stoppered bottle.
Sorry. At 10th level, you already have a proficiency of +4, so...
Oh, do you? Well, there you go.
Yeah, you get that at 9th level, so at level 10, you can already do the 8 long rest in there.
Yeah, and I mean, if you have a ring with a compartment, who's going to suspect a ring has people in it?
Yeah, someone might be all ooh, ring, and put it in their pocket, and that'll get awkward, but they're not gonna takes out broadsword. You came to the wrong patch of grass, Mr. Ring.
Yeah. So it's a relatively good feature for rests. And if you already have proficiency bonus of +4, you can use it for a long rest in a very safe area. And that's also 5 extra people to help bring the furniture in when you need to stash it away.
Yeah, exactly.
Or bank heist. Look at all this money.
I would love that. It's just like, yes, would you like to see my new apartment? Zip.
So, let's move on to the last one, which is Limited Wish. You entreat your patron to grant you a small wish. As an action, you can speak your desire to your genie's vessel, requesting the effect of one spell that is 6th level or lower and has a casting time of 1 action. The spell can be from any class's spell list, and you don't need to meet the requirements in the spell, including costly components. The spell simply takes effect as part of the action. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish 1d4 long rests. I like this for a number of reasons. The main one being any spell from any class's spell list.
Yeah, the 1d4 long rests kind of hurt, especially if you're unlucky like me, but still, that's pretty cool.
But I mean,
for what it is.
Think of it this way. Genies generally aren't the nicest of things. The fact that they're giving you a wish in general is nice, lore and thematics-wise, but I could see it as you kind of saving it for those high tense moments of, oh, I'm out of my what is that, 3 spell slots at that point, maybe 4, but generally 3 spell slots. This thing's still only just partially bloody. I need to pull out like a 6th level spell.
Mm-hmm.
Which 6th level spells at that point you can only cast 1 a day.
And it's from like any spell list. Like that's a lot you can do with that.
Yeah. Or, oh no, Bob over there just died. Revivify.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because you don't need any of the costly components.
Yep.
So
you have some 6th level spells too.
I know.
Yeah, I would say obviously its usefulness is gonna be a little lessened as you get like higher and higher in level, but still, like you just said, like, oh, I can cast Revivify every 1d4 long rests.
Yeah.
So
any spell without any spell with costly requirements, you can just cast without it. I think when they included that, they probably put the 1d4 long rest there as the balancing feature. Like, if you found something, and I don't have any good spells off the top of my head of 6th level or lower, but something that costs like 1,000 gold.
God, isn't
bam.
Simulacrum or Simulacrum or whatever, isn't that like a 6th level spell?
I can't remember. Something tells me I want to say it's 7th, but I don't remember.
You might be right.
But I like it for the fact that it's any class's spell list. You don't need to meet the requirements, including the costly ones. It just takes effect as part of the action. Now, I'm interested to see, and I would like them to clarify it, but what about spells that take time? Does it just happen on an action?
I believe it has to have a casting time of 1 action. You mean like AO?
Oh yeah, casting. So that means Simulcrum wouldn't be viable.
Yeah, because that's like
an 8-hour
long cast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
now that I'm reading it,
heal.
Is heal 6th level?
Heal? Yeah, heal is.
Heal
Oh,
6th level.
yeah.
Heal someone
Oof.
70 hit points.
Yeah, that alone. It's like, all right, I need to heal up. Whoop. I see a lot of uses for this, and I like it. And overall, I really like this subclass.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the ones where I would also want to play as. Honestly, all 3 of these I would want to try at some point, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. This is far and above a lot better than the old Genie subclass, and I can't wait for this to show up in a book. I hope it does, because I really like the thematics and all the features. All right, Nick, you're the last one for our last subclass of today.
Yay! As we all know, wizards have a crap ton of arcane traditions. Okay. At 2nd level, a wizard gains the Arcane Tradition feature. Here is a playtest option for that feature. Order of Scribes. Order of Scribes. Magic of the Book. That's what many spellcasters call wizardry. The name is apt, given how much time wizards spend poring over their spellbooks, penning theories about the nature of magic, and exploring the farthest recesses of libraries. It's rare to see a wizard traveling without books and scrolls sprouting from their bags, and a wizard would go to great lengths to plumb an archive of ancient knowledge. Among wizards, the Order of Scribes is the most bookish. It takes many forms in different worlds, but its primary mission is the same everywhere, recording magical discoveries in tomes and scrolls so that wizardry can flourish. And while every wizard values their spellbook, a scribe in the Order of Scribes dedicates themselves to magically awakening their book, turning it into a trusted companion. All wizards study their spellbooks, but a wizardly scribe talks to theirs.
So, thematically, I find this one hilarious.
Yeah, same.
You're a wizard that has gone insane and needs to talk to their own book.
I have no friends. Or do I? Pulls out the fucking dictionary.
That hermit background has a different context to it now, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yes, it does. Now, the Order of Scribes, this was previously the archivist from one of the original Artificer subclasses, which I never felt that it really fit well with the Artificer, so I'm glad that they reworked it for Wizard, as it fits really well here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, when you take this arcane tradition at 2nd level, the first thing you get is Wizardly Quill. As a bonus action, you can magically create a tiny quill in your free hand. The magic quill has the following properties. The quill doesn't require ink. When you write with it, it produces ink in a color of your choice on the writing surface. That's nice to not have to buy ink at the very least.
Yeah.
The gold and time you must spend to copy a spell into your spellbook are halved if you use the quill for the transcription. That's nice.
Yeah.
You can erase anything you write with the quill if you wave the feather over the text as a bonus action, provided the text is within 5 feet of you. That's probably just a quality of life thing. More or less, or like a creative thing.
Mm-hmm.
More than anything. This quill disappears if you create another one or if you die.
So, this one is kind of generic, but fits, because you create a wizardly quill. The fact that it doesn't require ink is really nice, and you don't have to keep buying ink for your spells.
Yeah, the main part of it, obviously, is the half cost.
Yeah.
Like,
now, this, I'm actually surprised that it's written like this, but the fact that you do need to create your own magical quill makes sense. But all other arcane traditions, you only get like the golden time for halved are for like your specific like
your school.
Yeah. So this is all of them.
All of them. So it doesn't seem as, I would say, buff as just like looking at it, but that is really, really good. That's 50 gold per level is now 25 gold per level with any spell. And
I have a feeling that's probably because the fact that the ink creates its own, or the quill creates its own ink. So that's just kind of cutting that half. The fact that you can erase anything you write with the quill and wave the feather over, that's nice for secret notes.
Yep.
Pass a note to somebody, they pass it back, it's gone.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
That's kind of nice.
Wait, you don't use invisible ink?
No. And I think the reason that the golden time to copy is half for all of them is probably because like the specialized wizards have a lot of things that go for their specialization, where this one doesn't so much, and it's more focused on the book and the quill and that. So I think overall it'll end up balancing itself out. But let's head on to the second part, Nick.
All right, the best part of this whatsoever. Awakened Spellbook. Using specially prepared inks and ancient incantations passed down by your wizardly order, you have awakened an arcane sentience within your spellbook. While you are holding the book, it grants you the following benefits. You can use the book as a spellcasting focus for your wizard spells. When you cast a wizard spell with a spell slot, you can temporarily replace its damage type with the damage type of another spell in your spellbook, as your spellbook magically alters the spell's formula for this casting. When you cast a wizard spell as a ritual, you can use the spell's normal casting time rather than adding 10 minutes to it. Once you do this benefit, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Do you want me to keep reading, or do you want to talk about those 3 points?
Keep reading, finish the thing.
If necessary, you can replace the book over the course of a short rest by using your wizardly quill to write arcane sigils in a blank book or a magic spell book to which you are attuned. At the end of the rest, your spellbook's consciousness is summoned into the new book, which the consciousness transforms into your spellbook, along with all its spells. If the previous book still existed somewhere, all the spells vanish from its pages.
So this one's interesting. One, they gave us a wizard subclass that can change the damage type of any spell. That fireball is now cold damage. Hello. Have an ice ball.
Ice ball. Thunderball.
Force ball.
Necrotic ball.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ow.
And with being a wizard, if you are a good wizard playing a lot of the modules, spellbooks drop into your lap left and right.
Mm-hmm.
So the amount of spells that you can get means that the only thing you're really not going to have is probably bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing for the most part, though you might find one.
No, that's incorrect. I cast Barbarian.
Listen,
I cast Fighter.
I know for piercing, there's Thousand Darts, which is a 3rd level spell. Clouded Daggers. I know there's a bludgeoning somewhere.
There's a few in there, but they're not as more readily available than everything else. So
wait, I cast Dagger.
So you're probably going to have most damage types, not by 2nd level, but get to that 9th, 10th level, you'll probably have most damage types, and that is huge. It's like, you cast Fireball. Oh, that thing's resistant to fire? All right, well, I cast Ice Ball now.
Wait. What about Slashing Ball? Does that count, or does that be an element?
My favorite part of this would be making the DM, like, bullshit whatever damage type you're bringing into the table. It's like, yeah, this Fireball, I want it to do bludgeoning damage. Describe this to me. Your DM's like,
You summon arcane energy as a giant fist gets thrown at them.
In a 120-foot whatever sphere of bludgeoning death.
Using the book as a spellcasting focus, 20. That's just kind of yes. But this 3rd part, casting a wizard spell as a ritual, you can cast it at normal time once per long rest. That's beneficial for a number of spells. Like, you really need to identify something. All right, I'm casting this as a ritual. Done.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And especially if a spell can, if it's useful as both or whatever,
if you really need Liam's tiny hut, but you're out of the spell slot for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a free spell slot too.
Yep. I really like that, but then the kicker on this whole thing is you can replace the book by basically
putting your signature in another book.
Yeah. And it says if the previous book still existed, all the spells vanish from it. So it sounds like, one, you don't need your other book to do it. You just throw the consciousness, which one of the biggest worries for a wizard is losing their spell book. Yep. As an order of scribes, who cares? I have the consciousness in my mind. All right, boop.
Yep, and you get all your spells too. It even says along with all of its spells. So it's like, who needs that?
Yeah.
Who needs the old one?
Somebody lights your spell book on fire? Oh, well, okay.
Don't care.
I accidentally put tea on it, or dropped tea on it this morning. I guess I'll have to write up another one.
Yep, just give me an hour. Whoop, there we go.
This is the wizard subclass for all the klutzes out there.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, a blank spellbook does cost 50 gold, which at 2nd level can be hard to come by.
But it says blank book or magic spellbook.
Yeah, blank book.
So
cost maybe a couple gold.
Yeah, that Times magazine over there, bloop.
Well,
I'm sure they'll change that.
Yeah, I feel that because a blank spellbook has like hundreds of blank pages, and if you were to take like a small notebook of 20 pages, it seems weird to be able to have all your spells in that.
It's also a magical conscience of whatever the fuck you decide it is.
That's fair. I feel that may get reworded, but I love the concept of it. Because, one, you have a magical talking friend book.
The ultimate cry for help wizard.
What's your background? Hermit.
What's your subclass? The book talks. Scribe.
How many other scribes do you know? Just myself.
But overall, I like what they're doing so far with this subclass.
Yeah, I think the ideas are really interesting.
Wizards, to me, they've always been kind of that, well, you kind of learn every spell and do them all. They're fine, and people enjoy them, but I've never been the biggest fan of going out of my way to try one. I want to play this so far. Because having a conversation with myself in a book seems fun.
I couldn't make any friends until I made a friend.
Yeah, now you're sounding like oh fuck! I already the new class that they introduced
For
D&D, the
Artificer.
Artificer. Yeah,
That's
they didn't
fair.
have it until they made one.
That's fair.
Now the wizard's joining in.
Okay, Master Scrivener. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce that word.
Oh.
One of those. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can create one magic scroll by touching your wizardly quill to a blank piece of paper or parchment and causing one spell from your awakened spellbook to be copied onto the scroll. The spellbook must be within 5 feet of you when you make the scroll. The chosen spell must be a first or second level and must have a casting time of 1 action. Once in the scroll, the spell's power is enhanced, counting as 1 level higher than normal. You can cast the spell from the scroll by reading it as an action. The scroll is unintelligible to anyone else, and the spell vanishes from the scroll when you cast it or when you finish your next long rest. You are also adept at crafting spell scrolls, which are described in Chapter 7 of the Dungeon Master's Guide. The golden time you must spend to make such a scroll is halved if you use the wizardly quill. Also awesome.
Yeah, I love it. Because you basically create 1 free magic scroll per day.
Yep, and it's like a level higher.
Yeah.
I would say that they realized that people were just going to be making these and giving them to the rest of the party, so they even put in there that nobody else can read it, basically.
Yeah. But the fact that you can create 1 per long rest, if you're in a campaign where you have any type of downtime, I like that they limited to 1st and 2nd level because of this reason. Just if you have like a week of downtime, that's 7 scrolls. It's like, all right, big boss, I have 7 extra spell slots for the day.
Yeah. Chromatic.
Yeah, exactly.
All the way.
At 3rd level.
Yeah.
Or what level is Chromatic Orb?
It's first, but you can.
Okay, yeah, 2nd.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2nd.
Which is
It's insane because it's like, not only is it basically an extra spell slot, but it's like a higher level than normal. So, granted, if you're, like a level 15th, 16th level wizard or whatever, that might not be too powerful, but that's still a lot of extra spell slots potentially.
Yeah. I mean, you could even just every day be like, all right, mage armor, mage armor, mage armor.
Oh my god,
mage
you're right.
armor. And
But
have that
imagine
free
this
cast of
wizard
mage armor.
Imagine having this kind of wizard have a downtime for a year, though.
Jesus. Yeah, I have an
Sometimes
extra
there are
3.
big time skips like that in a D&D campaign.
I have an extra 300 and some spell slots now. Does it say you can just have all of those, or is it like if you make one, one vanishes?
Oh, wait, hold on. No, I'm reading this again. Spell vanishes from the scroll when you cast it or when you finish your next long rest. Okay, there's the balancing.
Dream crushed.
But still, that's a extra spell per day.
Yeah, which is still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
It's not as overpowered as we thought, but still good.
But you can still get close to that because the spell or the components that a creative speller have as well.
Yeah, and that's a great money-making venture if you have downtime.
Like for the artificer, whatever they make.
You'd be a jerk if you sold those because they vanish.
No, the second
actual making them, not
adept at crafting spell scrolls.
Okay.
Where it's like, all right, I'm a powerful wizard. I have 7th level spells. Creates a bunch of 7th level spell scrolls. I would like to sell these.
Yeah.
Normally cost 10,000, only 6,000 today.
Yeah, you could make a lot of money with that, and that's just a nice little feature. But overall, the fact that you get an extra spell per day, even though it's only 1st or 2nd level, you could be as simple as say, well, I want mage armor for free. That would be worth it.
Yeah. I would say it's a very, very nice thematic thing that is also useful, at least more or less. Like, especially the money-making thing.
Oh, yeah. I love it, and I can't wait to see it show up. But how do we go on to the 10th level?
All right. Manifest Mind. You are now able to conjure forth the mind of your awakened spellbook. As a bonus action, while the book is on your person, you can cause the mind to manifest as a tiny spectral construct, hovering in an unoccupied space of your choice within 60 feet of you. This presence is intangible and doesn't occupy its space, and it sheds dim light in a 10-foot radius. It looks like a ghostly tome, a cascade of text, or a scholar from the past, your choice. The spectral mind has a number of hit points equal to your wizard level plus your intelligence modifier, and it uses your armor class and saving throw modifiers. While manifested, the spectral mind can hear and see, and it has a dark vision with a range of 60 feet. As an action, you can hear and see using its senses, so like a familiar, instead of your own until your concentration ends, as if concentrating on a spell. When you cast a wizard spell on your turn, you can cast it as if you were in the spectral mind's space instead of your own, using its senses. You can do so a number of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. As a bonus action, you can cause the spectral mind to hover up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you or it can see. It can pass through creatures but not objects. The spectral mind stops manifesting if it is ever more than 300 feet away from you, if it drops to 0 hit points, if you die, or if you dismiss it as a bonus action.
Yeah. So it's basically a familiar.
Yeah.
I would say one of the coolest things about it is you can cast spells from its space.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna be 299 feet away, and
Fireball.
Here's this spell with a range of 120 feet.
Though it does have this thing where you can only cast a number of spells equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest, so there is a limit. Mm-hmm. But at 10th level, that's what we've said, 4 fireballs.
Yeah. Also, the shedding dim light in 10-foot radius is kind of cool, although that can be bad depending on the context, I suppose.
Yeah. But it's only dim light, it's not bright light, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Dark vision's nice. Being able to see through it like a familiar is really nice. Mm-hmm. I like this because it just amplifies that lonely mage with his spell book even further. Because he's now manifested into a spectral construct.
What if you make a book and it's your waifu? Does that work? Can that be a thing?
Let's not go down that route.
I don't know what he said. He cut out, and I don't want to know.
You don't
want to know.
But yeah, I love it. It's like it's another familiar type thing with a little bit of utility. It doesn't have a lot of hit points, and
I mean, does any familiar though?
I mean, that's fair.
It has the most out of all the familiars and a 2 HP,
and it has your AC.
Yeah, and saving throw modifiers
normally.
Yeah, maybe if you're lucky.
But like if you have mage
16.
armor on yourself, it sounds like that would count also for it.
Yeah.
So I mean, at least what, like a 15? I mean, at least a 13. Come on.
Yeah. Which I've seen worse. But overall, I like it. I don't have any complaints on this one. Because having a familiar is always nice. And the fact that it's your spell book.
Yeah, that makes me laugh.
All right. The last one.
Okay, one with the word. Your connection to your awakened spellbook has become so profound that your soul has become entwined with it. While you are holding the book and its spectral mind is manifest, you can take an action to cause the two of you to teleport, swapping places. You can teleport in this way a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Moreover, if you die, and this is freaking amazing and useful for me in particular, if you die, but at least one spell remains in your awakened spellbook, you can return to life 1 minute later within 5 feet of the book. You revive with 1 hit point, then roll 3d6. The book loses spells of your choice that have a combined spell level equal to that roll or higher. For example, if the roll's total is 9, spells vanish from the book that have a combined level of at least 9, which, ouch. Which could mean 1 9th level spell, so goodbye wish, with 3 3rd level spells or some other combination. Thereafter, you are incapable of casting the lost spells, even if you find them on a scroll or in another book. The only way to restore your ability to cast one of the lost spells is through the wish spell, which can restore 1 spell to the book per casting.
So
I don't like this one at all, personally.
It's a nice, like, hey, I really like this character, don't want to die right now. It gives you a good punishment that can be fixed with some work.
It seems like a harsh punishment to me.
It does hurt. But think of, like, especially if you're a wizard, you're going to have so many throwaway spells that you don't use.
So I like and don't like it. The first part where you can swap between places with your awakened spellbook, love that.
Yeah.
Because that is so useful for just getting out of danger.
Yeah, I like that bit.
The death part and losing spells.
If you roll 3d6 and you max that, that's 18 levels of spells, though.
Yeah,
Like,
it is a harsh punishment, but I do agree that death should have a consequence if you're able to come back from it. From something other than like Revivify or something which has a cost component. The only reason I'm not the most hateful of this is because you're a wizard, and it says that you're the ability to cast the spells you can get back through the wish spell. Just take wish once you have access to 9th level spells.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
losing wish every time you cast it, though?
If it is... So you have a chance to lose it if it is not one of the things that is previewed on Wish.
Okay.
And
which this would be, I would think.
I would rule it as so, because it specifically says the Wish spell can bring it back, and it can only restore 1 spell to the book per casting. So that's 1 spell per day. The thing where Wish can become lost is when you do things like destroy all my enemies.
Yeah.
And you try and wish for something that's really outside the realm of what it should be used for. That's when you have the chance of losing it.
Gotcha.
So I feel in this sense, wish, if you lose a couple of spells, just write down which ones you lost and then get 9th level spells, wish them back.
You do have to write them down if you lose them, because you can't cast them anymore, even with a spell scroll.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is also one of those things where if you do make like a copy, like an entire copy of your spellbook that isn't through your scribe feature, if you do lose spells but then gain the ability to cast them again, you just have to write them back into your spellbook. Or you have scrolls or whatnot. So once you gain the ability, it's not too hard, especially at 14th level and higher, to get them back. You just have to get that wish spell.
Yeah, and all of this would ever only come into play if, like, the party cleric can't get to you or something.
Yeah. So I like and hate it, but there should be consequences for death.
I guess what just makes me nervous is that it's between, 3 and 18 spells you're losing? Like, levels worth of spells you're losing?
Yeah.
That, if you max that, that's gonna hurt so bad.
It is. But I feel that they might tune that a little bit more. I'm fine where... But also, the average is going to be about 9. Which, again, can hurt, but wizards have access to so many spells, and by 14th level, you'll probably have a crap ton of spells that you don't even use. So, it's only going to really start hurting once you start dying more than 2 or 3 times. And at that point,
being the wizard with the lowest HP.
But at that point, maybe you need to rethink how you're playing your wizard. Not
me playing this wizard. Why can you only cast Firebolt? Don't worry about it. But you're like an 18th level. Don't worry about it.
How have you lived this long?
Stab!
I haven't.
Why do you keep talking to your book?
He's my only friend.
You won't talk to us.
Overall, though, I enjoy all three of these subclasses.
Same.
The rogue, I think the last one needs to be changed a little bit. And I would like to see the one with the word for the wizard. I feel 3d6 might be a bit too much. So I think it should be lowered a little bit, maybe 3d4.
Yeah, that seems more reasonable to me.
Yeah.
Or 1d12 if you're feeling
No. Wizards of the Coast for 5th edition have always done the bounded accuracy.
Yeah.
So they'll always do something where it's multiples of lower dice to have a more
get the average up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're lucky, it's only a 3rd level spell slot. Okay. So I like all of them. The last note on this subclass revisited is they did talk about that there were a couple wizard subclasses that weren't really liked and that were dropped. That was the Onomancy and Psionics, which Onomancy was the one where it dealt with the true names.
I actually kind of like that one. I'm a little sad on that one.
It was all right, but true names almost never come up from what I can tell.
That is true, yeah.
So, while in concept it was cool, I think it was very limiting.
Play-wise. Yeah.
And Psionics, I know a lot of people like Psionics. I enjoy a lot of what they've been doing with Psionics and Unearthed Arcana, but Psionics on a wizard just feel weird.
I was thinking the same thing.
Because wizards are just use magic and use the weave to cast magic. Psionics are innate psychic abilities within them, and I feel a wizard isn't a wizard if they're not casting magic.
Yeah, part of me can see it, because, like, the high intelligence might go hand in hand, but like you said, it just doesn't really have the wizard feel.
Yeah, I'd like to...
A warlock, maybe.
I'd like to see a psionic artificer.
I would too. Like,
that'd be interesting.
Psionic for all of the other classes, go right ahead. Wizard just feels weird.
Yeah.
Even Sorcerer feels a little weird, but I could see that a bit more.
That makes more sense because it's innate magic.
Yeah.
Right?
That one I can see more. Still slightly weird, but not as weird as the wizard.
If they did it right, like, maybe, but otherwise,
Really, I think it should be mostly for the martial classes because it gives them another magic.
Oh, definitely. But we'll see what they do with psionics, and we'll talk about it when they come out. But ultimately, I love this article. It remixed a couple of the subclasses that really needed it, and I've said it a couple times, but I really hope all of these make it to an actual print book.
Favorite out of the three?
Genie.
I would say Rogue for you.
Yeah.
I would say, as far as like what's written in the copy, I would say Warlock is my favorite. But as far as like if I were to actually role play as one of these, I would say the Wizard. 100% the Wizard.
That's fair. I don't know, the GD, I liked it in the previous one, and they just made it so much better. But I think I just want a genie as a patron. They're just such cool, magical, mystical creatures that it makes sense that they would be a warlock patron.
Yeah. In
seeing this, yes, give me more. Well, that's all I have to say on this article. What about you guys?
That's it for me.
Yeah, pretty much same. Like I said, as far as what's written, I think the Warlock's probably, in my opinion, probably the best out of these, as like far as what they get, and just because of the access to the spells and everything. But roleplay wise, that wizard though.
Yeah, they're all good. So this has been our first foray into Unearthed Arcana. So tell us how you guys liked it in the comments below, and what we can improve on and all that, as I will definitely want to visit this again, because talking about these is just always fun.
I can already hear the comments say, Kyle, practice already. God damn it, stop stuttering. Stop tripping over every other word.
I think that's just you, Kyle.
True, but I do need to stop it.
Well, anyway...
Typically, though, that's a sign of high intelligence. Your mind is just reading faster than your mouth can follow, so...
No, I skipped it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but... I was trying to help you, Kyle.
I skim read because I'm used to reading books and stuff I already know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair. But anyway, thank you for joining us on this talk about Unearthed Arcana, and make sure, if you haven't already, check out our D&D games. We currently have Descent into Avernus going on, as well as 2 games that we play once a month, which is Lost Mine of Phandelver and my own homebrew campaign, Legacy of Emerron. But otherwise, we'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.